The video is Le'ilui Nishmas Shmo Bach and Chaim Tzidoiv. And Ibada L'Chaim Tovim, L'Rufua Shalema, very special neshama. L'Fal Chaim Doiv Ben Risa Shoshana. And I had an amazing conversation with his father. I did Nefesh Rabbi Brody. And I want to share with you some of the thoughts that we discussed. I think there's an incredible lesson that we could connect, number one, to the topic that we've been discussing for the past few weeks, which is friendship, what it means to be a friend, fourth level pleasure, relationships, to really have a good friend, the pleasure to appreciate a good friend, and to connect it, of course, to Parshas Kisisa. So let's discuss, first of all, a friend. What I found, as I'm sure many of you have, is that when it comes to a good friend, a real good friend, is not someone that's giving you compliments all the time. I recently was in just witnessing a businessman, nice, good yid, trying to do the right thing, and he was on a phone call, and he was telling another businessman, he was telling the person, I'm telling this to you because other people won't tell this to you. And I'm telling you this because I care about you. The way you acted with this and this person and this meeting was awful. These people walked away with such a bad taste. You got to start changing. Now, you could listen to this conversation and think, wow, that's heavy, a heavy conversation. It was a heavy conversation. But it's the most beautiful conversation. You know why? Because if a person, the receiver, the friend that really feels and knows that this person is his friend and is not telling it to him because he decided to get up and say something negative, but rather because he really cares and wants him to grow and wants him to have olam haba, like the Rambam says, when you want to give teichacha. It's the most beautiful thing when he accepts it. What I find, and I'm sure many of you have witnessed, is what's called the victim syndrome, when the people that you're close with and you're helping out for years, and then one day you tell them one comment about how they should maybe fix themselves and make their lives so much better and how they should really make up with this and this person, that's it. They turn around and say, if that's what you said to me, it's all over. And it's tragic, so tragic, because until then it wasn't a real friendship. If I can't tell you something that I think is going to help improve your life. So that's one aspect of friendship. But there's another, and maybe even a deeper aspect of friendship. And this goes into a very deep hashkafa. And you have to really go through the sugyas, but this is what I think, humbly, and this is based on the conversation that I had. I think when it comes to a real friend, and a friend comes to you and tells you a tzara, tells you they're going through a very difficult situation. So on the one hand, you have to know, are they coming for chizik? They're coming for chizik. Do they want to know, which is many times the situation, how to strengthen themselves? So the best sefer is Chovas Halvavos. I tell people all the time, work in Chovas Halvavos, work in Bitachon, work in Emunah. And there's no doubt that could be the greatest gift. Like I said, from Rav Adel Yopian. That's a one book, one sefer that has Askama from Rabban Shalom. Rabban Shalom told the Malach, tell the Beis Yosef, Rav Yosef Karo, learn Chovas Halvavos. It's the bread and butter. You can't move without it. But at the same time, if someone is coming and complaining and telling you about a terrible, tragic challenge that they're going through, one of the things that we need to do as a friend is not just halvai, we should be able to cry, but turn to the Rebbeinu Shalom, doesn't have to be in front of the person, and complain. Now, what I mean by complaining is a very, very teeth. It's a very dakastic. It's very complicated. But at the same time, it's very simple. Because we see throughout the Torah that when Klal Yisrael are in trouble, Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't say, when Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, that's it, I'm destroying your nation. Moshe Rabbeinu should have said, Gamzu l'toiva, okay, you said it, this is what's supposed to happen. No, Moshe Rabbeinu understood, the Rabbeinu was telling him, I want you to fight for them. I want you to figure out why I shouldn't kill them. Avraham Avinu was told that Hashem is destroying Sodom. Avraham Avinu's job was to figure out as much as possible. And once he did, and it's all he did the shishtadlus. But the point is, like the Katzka says, when an ani comes to your door, we all want to tell the ani, what are you worried about? Everything is going to work out. And the Katzka said, this is when you're supposed to use kfira. What does that mean? That a person has to know that there is a midah inside of us that we need to use that says, wait a minute, right now, Rabban Shalom, I don't understand. It's hurting me. This person has been sick for so long and it's so painful. And I want to express myself. And the person's you're allowed to express yourself. And you should express yourself. Rabban Shalom, I don't understand it. Not because I don't know. Deep down inside that there's a Boira Olam. I know you there's a God. I know there's a Creator. I look into the world. I know there's a Creator. I know the Creator loves us. I know the Creator wants us to have the best. But at the same time, it's so difficult. And the Rebbeinu Shalom wants us to express. David HaMelech cries and says, Rebbeinu Shalom, Keli Lama Zavtani, Tehillim Chav Beis, that Esther Malka said, it's a cry, and it's what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants us to be so real and beg Him. And begging for the Yeshuas. That's what we need to learn from Moshe Rabbeinu in this week's parasha. And it's something that we need to internalize so powerfully. Hashem should give us the strength that we should be able to say, Rebbeinu Shalom, I know you exist, and at the same time I'm crying because Klal Yisrael is suffering so much. It's time we should have the Geula. And then Rebbeinu Shalom is going to say, wow, this time you convinced me. I wanted to hear you say that. That's Vatal Shavasim Al Alakim. The Rebbeinu Shalom said, Chaim Vital says, we're going to get out of Golus than where we got out then. Through the tefillah.